Hey everyone out there, welcome to the Raining Fire channel. This is the first video that I'm going to make under the new channel name, and I thank you for stopping to check it out. Today I'm going to be creating a character for the One Ring revised edition. The second edition's out right now and it's gaining a lot of popularity. Everybody that is involved with it seems to really enjoy it. Now, I have the starter edition here, and it looks alright, but the art hasn't necessarily sold me. And I've got my old books, and I love this game so much. This revised edition, what a lot of people call first edition, to me just hits Tolkien right on the money. It couldn't be any more Lord of the Rings when I open up the pages and I see the full color, just the way that everything is put together. I really enjoy it, and it's hard for me to tear away from. Now, I do plan on running a campaign here on my channel very soon. I say campaign, but a series of games, hopefully with the same people following the same plotline. I want to run through some of my first edition books that I never got the chance to play with before, like Bree, Rivendell, Erebor, maybe even the Darkening of Mirkwood. All of those would be a lot of fun to dig into. At least I hope. I've always appreciated the lore in them. It's my favorite part about it, just the extended lore of all of it. And I want to bring that to some other people that I'm pretty close with, and maybe some new people too that'll hopefully want to join us. I was talking with a couple of guys, and two of them have never played the first edition before, but are diehard fans of the second edition. So I'm going to make a video today going over the ease of character creation, just sort of what you can expect, what it entails, and that it's really not a very intimidating thing. If you've ever made a character in MERP before, Middle-earth role-playing, this is a breeze. It is like night and day. I feel like the rulebook does half the work for you. So today we will be making a character together. A character that I plan to use as an NPC, and I figured if I'm going to be generating an NPC, maybe I can just do it on stream and you guys can follow along with me, and we'll just sort of talk about everything that's going on. So this is page 33, which is where character creation first begins, and we've got this little parchment off to the right hand side of the page, and it basically breaks down everything that we're going to do, and it spells it out for you in really plain English. So, hero creation summary. Select a heroic culture. Record a character's cultural blessings and skill list. Select 2 specialties. Roll or choose your background. Record basic attributes and favored skills. Select 2 distinctive features. And we'll customize the hero. Choose your hero's favorite attributes. Spend previous experience points to buy skill levels. Choose a calling and favored skills. Generate the scores for endurance and hope. Prioritize scores for valor and wisdom. Choosing accordingly your starting reward or virtue. And record starting gear and fatigue. So right off the money, we are going to be selecting a heroic culture. And, oh, I shot a little bit too far ahead. So our culture is going to be a woodman of the Wilderland. And I'm going to shoot over to the character sheet. I've already written that down and I've named him Baron the Hound, the woodman of the Wilderland. And he's basically going to be like a forest-dwelling guy. He's going to be in Bree, which is quite a while away from where he's originally from, but he's going to be pretty knowledgeable, and he's going to have some information for the characters and hopefully help them out. And we can read a little bit about him. I don't know how eager you guys are to get to the whole character creation process. I know I wanted this to be a tutorial, and it's going to end up being just a review of this game. I know it is. If you don't know, the game setting, it's 2946, the Third Age. So a few years after the events of The Hobbit, Smaug's dead, the Battle of the Five Armies is over, Dale's been rebuilt, Erebor is thriving, the Necromancer, he's driven out of Dol Guldur, but his shadow still lingers. Everybody's pretty happy. Things are looking up. And boy, they have no idea what it's about to turn into. So that's kind of the situation that we're in. To anybody who may be not familiar with the timeline. Now, for the Woodmen of the Wilderland, here's a little quote. There were many of them, and they were brave and well armed, and even the wargs dared not attack them if there were many together or in the bright day. And then it goes on to talk about them like living in Mirkwood. Down here at the bottom of the page, the wizard Radagast, one of the wise of Middle Earth, has chosen to live among them. And that's pretty interesting. So it talks about our standard of living here. The woodmen are considered to be frugal, and we'll go ahead and document that on our character sheet. Standard of living, frugal. Oh boy. Frugal. And our cultural blessing is woodcrafty. Yeah, here we go. So our cultural blessing, woodcrafty. Radagast is a master of shapes and changes of hue. The woodmen know the woods so well that they can put a name on every shade of green found in the forest. Wearing the proper raiment and adopting clever ploys suggested by the brown wizard, they can trick the eyes of others and use many other obstacles found in the wood to their advantage. When the woodmen fight in the woods, they use their favored wit score as their basic parry rating. Alright, so under our cultural blessing, woodcraft. So when woodmen fight in the woods, they use their favorite wit skill. Looks like we're in. But it just continued on and on and on. That's fantastic. That's okay. We can grab the rest of it. When the woodmen fight in the woods, they use their favored wit score as their basic parry rating. And that's under cultural blessings, right at the top of the page. And then our calling, I believe, well, we have background. And I don't know that there's necessarily a spot for your background on the character sheet. You might... Oh yeah, right here, I'm sorry. The Hound. And then there's a bunch of pages for background and information, but I do have the Hound written down already. The dog, bred by the folk of the Woodland Hall, are dun in color, long of limb, sharp-nosed, gaunt, and great. Since you were a child, you have always felt drawn to the natural grace and ferocious loyalty. But above all, you share their love for the hunt, and you can feel their excitement when they are closing in on their prey. Now the background determines our basic attributes, so we have body, heart, and wisdom. Wits, I'm sorry. Body, heart, wits, so that's 3, 4, and 7, respectively. And we'll put those in the large numbers, and then those will change, and we'll record the total up at the top, I believe. Though it does say favored, I think that's to be underlined. I have this form fillable PDF, so maybe there's a tool to underline, but I'm not familiar with it. Also, our common skills here, so awe, athletics, awareness, explore, song, and craft. And this will be available for whatever heroic culture that you choose. So we've got 2, 2, 3, 1, 1 in the first row. So I'm gonna go ahead and select these pips. 2, 2, 3, 1, 1. And luckily they follow straight down. So 1, 0, 0, 3, 0, 1. 1, 0, 0, 3, 0, 1. And persuade 0, 2, 0, 2, 1, 0. 0, 2, 0, 2, 1, 0. And those are our common skills, which we will be able to buy up later. And there's a little formula for how to do that. We do have distinctive features for the Hound. Also our weapon skills. This is all important stuff. So choose one of the following 2 weapon skill sets and record it on the character sheet. I like the long hafted axe too, but having the 2 in bows is really going to be advantageous. So we'll take number 1, bows 2, long hafted axe 1, and dagger 1. And then we'll go ahead and document that here. Long hafted axe. Just 1, and what was the other one? Dagger? Yeah, and dagger 1. See, and this is another thing. Like, we're proficient with these, but we don't have them. We will have one of each of, let's see, I don't even know, I might have skipped it, but we have weapon skill sets to choose from. We might not have skipped it. We just keep going forward from here. We do have the favorite skill, hunting, but we can't, they want you to underline it. Favorite skills, they want you to underline. And I don't necessarily know that I have any way to actually do that. So keep it in your memory. And then distinctive features. Choose 2 traits from those listed. We have bold, eager, elusive, forthright, generous, gruff, hardy, and proud. I like bold and proud. Maybe bold and hardy is nice. And these are going to go under distinctive features. So he is bold and hardy. Oops. And then it's really pretty straightforward, as just following what the book says. I mean, so is every fantasy role-playing game, but this book just really makes it very easy for you. Specialties: choose 2 traits from Anduin lore, beast lore, fishing, herb lore, liegecraft, and Mirkwood lore. I want him to be knowledgeable of certain things, so when he encounters the party, he's going to have some information for him. So, I mean, I'm the game master. He knows whatever I say he knows. But I'm going to go with Anduin lore and Mirkwood lore. Bear with me. Sorry, let's go into specialties. So, Anduin lore and Mirkwood lore. Okay. And I do believe that's all we are going to have for now. At least in this area, we have documented our starting skill scores. We have our weapon skills listed. We have our specialties, our basic attributes. Our favorite skill is hunting, and we chose 2 distinctive features. Oh yes, so the next thing that we will do will be to choose our calling. And again, I do have a specific calling in mind for him. I'm going to go with Warden. Travelers scowl at us, and countrymen give us scornful names. In this age of the world where shadows grow deeper with every passing year, you have sworn to defend all who cannot defend themselves. Often your choice forces you to forsake civilized areas to better guard their inhabitants from what lurks right outside their fences. This has made you stronger in the eyes of the common folk, a threatening figure like those you are protecting them from. So our favorite skill group, personality and survival. Trait is shadow lore. It's another reason why we're going to go with Warden. And our shadow weakness is lore of power. Lure of power reminds me of like Boromir, that lure of power. It's hard to say no to. So shadow weakness, lure of power. His calling is Warden, and I don't know that there's necessarily anywhere for a trait. It's another thing that I might just have to find somewhere to put. Distinctive features, specialties, shadow weakness calling, here. So this just says traits, so we'll put shadow lore up here with Anduin lore and Mirkwood lore. And I guess it's just under specialties is where it belongs. And favorite skill groups, personality and survival. I'm gonna assume that those are again things that they want you to underline. I don't know if we get like pips in them. I don't know. I'll just check it now so I don't forget. And then we have favorite attributes. So body, heart, and wits are the fundamental ratings of all the heroes in the game. Each character starts with a set of basic values determined by their chosen background. Players now get to generate their character's favored attributes by adding bonuses to the basic scores. Favorite attribute score represents the character's potential to excel when drawing on his experience and training. Now this is really easy, straightforward. We're just going to go down 3, 2, 1. To generate the scores possessed by a hero as favored attributes, a player add 3 to one attribute, 2 to a second attribute, and 1 to the remaining one. Copying the new totals in the smaller boxes overlapping the attribute boxes on the character sheet. So go back to the character sheet. So wits, I'll give 3. That'll put us at 10. Body is the lowest, so I'll give that 2. And 1 for heart, so 5. So we've got 5, 5, 10. So previous experience, which I suppose he has none. And then we have common skill levels to, here we didn't read that. So previous experience, yeah, players now, so players may now raise some of the skill levels to represent their hero's experience in prior life as fully fledged adventurers. Yeah, so this doesn't affect us, but if you played before, you can basically buy up skills. So if you died off or something, I think, no, players may now, no, I'm just an idiot. So players may now raise some of their skill levels to represent their hero's experience prior to their life as a fully fledged adventurer. I was thinking of some sort of like Mithorog Reconquest thing where, well, if you lived a good life and you died an honorable death, you can get these buffs. No, I'm mistaken. I remember now. So players have 10 points to spend on raising their skill. The cost of raising each skill is shown in the 2 tables below. The first table gives us the cost for common skill levels, while the second shows the cost for weapon skills. Players are free to raise their skills as they see fit, as long as they have enough points to buy the desired skill level. They can also buy ranks in skills they previously didn't possess at all. or buy multiple ranks in the same skill as long as they pay the cost of each level individually. So that's important to remember. And they do a good job of explaining it as well. Players may buy a first level and a new individual weapon skill, but not a new cultural weapon skill. So if we want to gain 1, it's 1 point. If we want to move from 1 to 2 points, that's 2 points. If we want to move from 2 to 3, that's 3 points. 3 to 4 is 4 points, and 4 to 5 as well. So we'll pay those individually. So every time you move up, says a player wanting to go from Athletics 1 to Athletics 4 would spend a total of 9 points. 2 to raise it from 1 to 2, 3 to go from 2 to 3, and 4 to go from 3 to 4. So we get 10 points, and we can raise things. So hunting is favored, so we'll spend 3 points to go from 2 to 3. Stealth sounds nice. I can spend 1 point to add search. So we're at 4. Add 1 in lore, so that's 5. And then let's look at weapon skills. I really want that, yeah, so I can spend 4, which will put me at 9 to give me my second rank in long-hafted axe. And then I've got 1 more to put somewhere. Let's give it to travel. So yeah, it's easy enough. Then we have our starting resources for endurance and hope. We are a woodman, so we have our endurance is 20 plus our heart, and our hope is 10 plus our heart. Where, oh, I had already written this down. Okay, yeah, so 25 and 15. No. Yeah, 5. 25 and 15, respectively. And it says starting score, so I am assuming starting score is just what you start the game at. So 25 and 15, and then that number is going to go down. Then we have starting gear. All heroes start their adventuring career fully equipped with all the personal items and gear they consider best suited to a life on the road. For the sake of simplicity, the game presents such possessions as a character's traveling gear and war gear. A fatigue score. A player hero's traveling equipment and each piece of war gear possesses an encumbrance rating representing the hindrance that the item causes to the character, both in terms of weight and discomfort. For example, a helm, which significantly limits its wearer's vision, has a higher encumbrance rating than a suit of leather armor, regardless of weight. All the encumbrance ratings of the various items normally carried by a hero are added up to find his fatigue score. To be recorded on the character sheet alongside his endurance. And then on page 127, we'll learn about the effects of fatigue on a hero. We go into traveling gear. Hero's traveling gear includes all the typical belongings that he carries while traveling, in addition to his weapon and armor. Players only take into consideration the encumbrance rating of their traveling gear when they are using the rules for resolving a journey. Here's some different times of the year. Both sets of traveling gear include food supplies for 1 week of traveling. If the journey is going to last more than a week, the companions will generally have to rely on their skills as hunters. And if you have any, I believe anything in music, see, if a player hero possesses a song skill level 1 or more, his traveling gear may include a musical instrument appropriate to his culture. And I don't necessarily know that there's a nice place to document those things. These are beautiful, beautiful character sheets. These are the most beautiful character sheets I've ever seen in a fantasy role-playing game. I guess in our background we can just document those things, but for the sake of this video, we'll just go ahead and move on for now. Gear of War. Any weapon, suit of armor, helm, or shield carried by an adventurer must be individually recorded on the character sheet along with its encumbrance rating. Their total encumbrance score is taken into account to find the hero's fatigue threshold. And then they talk about dwarves and hobbits, smaller sized heroes. And then weapons. They're going to get into what we possess, and we get everything from, or one of each skill bundle. So a starting player is assumed to carry one weapon for each of the weapon skills he has a rating for. It goes into Bard. Heroes with cultural weapon skill may choose one specific weapon among the wider selections part. So I guess that implies that we have a bow, a long-hafted axe, and a dagger. And then we can, document everything else later as far as damage, edge, injury. And a newly created character starts with one suit of armor and may choose one piece of headgear and one shield. Players should record their chosen armor, headgear, and shields on their character sheet, paying attention to the following notes. The protection score of a coat of armor is recorded separately from that of a piece of headgear, as sometimes during combat the hero might resort to dropping it to avoid becoming weary too soon. Excellent rules written here. Shields do not offer direct protection from wounds, but make a hero less likely to be hit by adding to the attribute used to parry incoming blows, usually wits. A shield's rating is recorded separately from the main box devoted to parry, as a shield can be smashed by an opponent's blow. Additional gear: if a player would like to expand his character's equipment beyond the scope of a hero's traveling gear and war gear, the decision is up to the lore master. If the lore master agrees, they should take the character's standard of living into consideration. I'm frugal, I live in the woods. Sooner or later, every hero on the road to adventure faces a situation where his life will be threatened by hostile individuals or creatures. Indeed, many people in Middle-earth experience this without even leaving their home. And adventurers' basic combat abilities are reflected by his parry rating and damage bonus. Damage: when a character hits his opponent in combat, he inflicts lost endurance equal to his weapon's damage rating. If he achieves a great success, he adds his character's damage rating as a bonus to his weapon's damage rating. If he scores an extraordinary success, he adds double his damage rating to that of his weapon. Usually a character's damage rating is equal to his basic body score, both for attacks made with close combat weapon or a ranged weapon. Players should record their hero's damage bonus scores in the character sheet. Should a character's range attack damage rating differ from that of close combat attacks, the player should record it in the separate box. Special abilities and items might benefit from one type of attack or the other. So it says usually a character's damage rating is equal to his basic body score. So we'll go ahead, take a look. Our basic body score, I'm going to guess, so 5 total, and it's set for both. We'll put that for there for now. Parry is a defensive bonus reflecting a character's ability to keep his head in a dangerous situation, to be aware of opponent's actions, and to ward off an opponent's attack. Usually the parry rating of a character is equal to his basic wit score, modified by a positive bonus if the hero is using a buckler, a shield, or a great shield. See the equipment table on page 123. So our parry rating is equal to our basic wit score, and then it'll be modified by our shield. So parry, I'm gonna jump out there and say 10. Now we have wisdom and valor and wisdom. So this is how we're gonna come up with our virtues and rewards. And basically they give us 1 and 2, and we put 1 and 2 and put 1 and 1 and 2 and 1. Anyway, valor and wisdom measure a hero's resistance to fear and the shadow, and track his stature in terms of power and renown. Both scores range from 1 to 6 and rise over the course of the game. Starting scores. At this point in character generation, the players are asked to simply prioritize one characteristic over the other. A starting player gives a score of 2 to one characteristic and 1 to the other. Both numbers are entered in the character sheet in the boxes labeled Wisdom and Valor. So basically, one is going to give us rewards and one is going to give us virtues. And that's so the rewards are going to be Bearded Axe, Feathered Armor, and Shepherd's Bow. And the virtues, we have a Hunter's Resolve, Herbal Remedies, Hound of Mirkwood, Natural Watchfulness, and Staunching Song. So the virtues, I don't know, maybe they sound great, better, So Valor 2, Wisdom 1, the hero receives his first reward. So Wisdom 2, Valor 1, the hero has displayed his first virtue. The player should go to page 103 and read about how to choose a virtue among those available to a hero of his character's culture. So we'll do Wisdom 2 and Valor 1. And again, this all just flows together so nicely. I feel like I'm never really confused and never really like, oh, what am I supposed to be doing? The most confusing thing is that maybe I don't have a slot for it on the character sheet that just stands out. But down here at the bottom of the first page, though, we do see slots for rewards and virtues. And then for our gear that we will acquire, I believe on page 123. But we'll keep going through the rulebook. So this is company creation, and this will give us different slots basically for a particular part that your character will play in the party. Much like 4th edition Dungeons and Dragons, how everybody's got their role to play. This is very much like that. So I believe we are looking for, so this talks about attributes, attribute bonuses, wits, attribute ratings, and it talks about, 1 to 2 is poor, 3 to 4 is average, 5 to 6 is good, 7 to 8 superior, outstanding, and at 9 to 10 and 11 to 12 prodigious. Basic and favored attributes. And then, so here's our rating. So 1 pip is poor, 2 is average, 3 is good. Favored skills. Every individual tends to excel in some areas, either due to natural talent or from long experience. Body skills, art skills, and wits skills. 18 common skills cover wide areas of knowledge or ability possessed by the majority of individuals living in Middle-earth, enabling the players and lore master to resolve most situations encountered during play. A character's common skill may improve rapidly during the game if he puts his abilities to good use and earns advancement points. So the skills are divided into 3 categories, depending on which attribute most influences the skill. For ease of reference, the skill on the character sheet are organized into 3 columns. Under the 3 attributes, body, heart, and wits, from left to right. So that's nice. So these are all body skills on the left, heart skills in the middle, and wit skills off to the right. Fantastic. Common skill groups. Aside from being classed by a governing attribute, the 18 common skills are also collected into 6 skill groups, each of which is associated with a different type of activity. The name of the 6 groups are printed on the rightmost side of the character sheet. Personality skills are Awe, Inspire, Persuade. Movement skills, Athletic, Travel, Stealth. Perception skills, Awareness, Insight, and Search. Survival skills, Explore, Healing, Hunting. Custom skills, Courtesy, Song, and Riddle. Vocational skills, Craft, Battle, Lore. And then we've got a nice little chart here to help us keep track of all that. There's common skill descriptions. I think the next thing we're really kind of looking for, we have weapon skills, cultural weapons. I didn't see anything for our woodsman. And here we have our weapon skill list. So we're going to have a long-hafted axe, a bow, and a dagger. We have traits. The 3 attributes give a good impression and general makeup of a character, but they fall short in defining what exactly sets one individual apart from another. Traits are characteristics that add detail and nuance to a character, reflecting their own preferences and interests and personality. To use the 3 main reasons to evoke the use of a trait: to trigger automatic action, to propose unforeseen action, or to gain an advancement point. All right, so we'll keep on going. Again, I think we're looking for page 123. It's where I believe we're gonna find what we're after. So we're just gonna go ahead and type that in. Jump there. So here we have our armor. So yeah, here's war gear, and I guess our standard of living is up here as well, and our personal possessions. Cultural, here we go, cultural rewards. Woodmen of Wilderland. The 4 horses of the woodmen have always chosen keepers among their wise ones to guard the riches stored in their great halls. It is from, these are cultural rewards, so we're actually looking, so maybe I forget what page the virtues were on. I should have probably paid more attention to that, so we could have picked our virtue. That's okay. Probably just like pick hunting or something. Cultural rewards for bardings. But gear, yeah, so standard of living, we're frugal. We are frugal folk, usually sleep in comfortable common halls or tents if nomadic, and eat the produce of their own lands and pastures. They wear simple clothes, and most times, although they may possess finer garments for special gatherings like season festivals, marriages, funerals, jewels, or other superior ornaments, if they are in the keeping of members of, if there are any in the keeping of members of society, are treasured as possessions belonging to the community and are passed down through generations of appointed keepers. Adventurers coming from a frugal folk do not usually carry anything of unusual worth unless as part of their war gear. So we do have war gear here. So we need a helm, right? That helm is pretty sweet, but probably not what our guy is going to be wearing. Well, if even anything. A leather shirt. Probably makes sense. I like the mail shirt, but we'll probably just keep him light, moving. So under armor, we're gonna go ahead and put leather shirt. And what was the encumbrance for? And armor, it says protection 1D. I'm not necessarily sure where we will put that. Yeah, I don't know. But 1D under armor for now, just to kind of keep that in my mind. Type leather armor. Shields. A buckler. So a buckler is encumbrance 1 and parry modifier +1. So parry +1 and the encumbrance is +1. Alright, we don't have any swords. We do have a long-hafted axe. Look at that thing. That's exactly what I probably imagined him carrying around. Born with one or two hands, the long-hafted axe is designed to hack through the toughest of armor. It is difficult to maneuver, but when mastered, it is a fearful weapon. As a skilled fighter learns to fight with the long haft of the axe and its reinforced tip in addition to the blade. So that's great. Long hafted axe damage. It says 5 one-handed, 7 two-handed. The edge is the Gandalf rune. So 5 one hand and 7 two hand. Edge. So what does that mean? Gandalf rune? I can't type that because the Gandalf rune is 11, right? And do we have an encumbrance? Yes, we do. It is 3. And so the encumbrance for the axe is 3. It says injury. Bear with me. 18 one-handed, 20 two-handed. I should just put 5/7 and 18/20. Just for the sake of simplicity. Then we have range weapons. We have a bow, short range, 10 plus body rating and 20 plus body rating at medium, and 30 plus body rating at long range. So where do we see our bow? Do we have any type of specific slot for range? I don't think so. So bows, we'll just put 10, 20, 30, and that is all plus body. I'm going to type that over here just so I remember, since I don't really have a great place to put it. We have life and death, endurance and hope. Endurance represents a hero's resistance to injury, physical or psychological stress, even torture. Whenever the character is subjected to some form of harm or toil, his endurance score is reduced accordingly. Endurance loss should not be confused with being wounded. Then we have fatigue, status of health, weary. This is all stuff we don't really need to worry about too much right now. For the most part, so here's the fellowship and how fellowship points work, how treasure works. Yeah, so here we are in the adventuring phase. So, virtues. We missed the virtues, which was my bad. Whoa, 76, I think. Yeah, we're close. Bear with me here. So virtues and rewards. So Valor 2, a hero has to play his first virtue and should go to page 103. Yeah, sorry about that. So how virtues work. Of all the options offered to players, the choice of virtues is probably the one that allows for the easiest individualization of a hero. They represent the special qualities of people or talents practiced until they become second nature. Every time a hero's wisdom score goes up 1 level, including at character creation, if he begins with a wisdom of 2, he receives a virtue. Virtues distinguish themselves from other characteristics. Masteries, confidence, expertise, cultural virtues of bardings. And I saw a thing about our woodsman. A Hound of Mirkwood. And hunting. Okay, so this must be... here we go. Cultural virtues, Woodman of Wilderland. The qualities that let the Woodman clan survive in one of the most dangerous corners of Wilderland are subtle and diverse. So, Hunter's Resolve. You have learned to tap into the inner strength of... This doesn't sound good. Once per day, you may spend a hope point to recover a number of endurance points equal to your favored heart rating. Herbal remedies. There was something, Hound of Mirkwood. Isn't there specifically a hunting one? Maybe support. Hound of Mirkwood. Your folk have always delighted in training great long-jawed hounds, stronger than wolves. You have chosen a wolfhound of Wilderland to accompany you in your wanderings, and faithfulness of your hound reinforces your spirit. Raise your maximum hope score by 2 points, but such trust comes at a price. Hound of Mirkwood is a valorous and noble beast and always ready to take the side of his human companion during combat. So that could be cool. You get a dog. I didn't really plan for this guy to have a dog, but yeah, that sounds great. Why not? Yeah, he's gonna have a dog. Hound of Mirkwood. We'll have to think of his name. And our hope rating goes up too. Don't remember what hope was. Forgive me while I search for that. We figured that out earlier. I do remember. Very armor, body, heart, wits, wisdom, valor, experience. Say dog. Let's do hope. I'm sure there's other rules too. So when you're engaged in battle and an attack aimed at you produces the Eye of Sauron result, the blow hits and automatically wounds the hound instead. Oh, that's terrible. You may prevent this by taking the automatic wound yourself. You cannot roll for protection. A wounded hound is put out of combat for the remainder of the scene and will return at your side at the start of the next session only if you succeed in a healing roll with a TN of 16. If you fail, the hound will not recover until the next fellowship phase. And there's the stuff for training the hound, support, harass the enemy, protect. That sounds fantastic. It is bugging me though that I can't... Oh, here we go, hope. I'm an idiot. So 15, 16, 17... Starting score 17. I love these characters so much. These character sheets rather. I can't think of any role playing. Even the second edition, it does not make me as nostalgic as these things. I remember the first time I saw a One Ring character sheet, I was blown away. I was like, whoa, that's a game I want to play. That is a game I'd like to play. And I'm sure I will be playing the second edition One Ring soon enough. But for now, I really want to get through the books that I have, at least a little bit. There's 3 adventures in the Bree book that I really want to run. I love the Bree book. I love the setting. Then maybe we'll make our way to Rivendell and maybe even Erebor. Who knows? And after that, maybe we'll start a second edition campaign. We'll play Moria and all the other stuff that's coming out now. I also want to play some 4th edition Dungeons & Dragons. So I'm sure there's already stuff on the 1st edition out. But yeah, I'm really hyped about it right now, so I wanted to make some sort of content. Maybe somebody out there will appreciate this video. I know, yeah, probably not very many people out there looking for character creation videos for the first edition of the One Ring, but if you are, here it is, Raining Fire's One Ring character creation video. And yeah, it's that easy for everybody else, it seems. Creating a character in this game is really, really easy. The system itself is really easy and seems pretty easy to run. I've never ran a game of this. I want to say I remember playing in a game with a buddy online back in the day. Maybe I just watched this game and I felt like I was there because I listened to it so much. I really don't remember. But the One Ring is cool. Creating a character is cool. The system seems really easy, and I'm just hyping myself up to run it for my buddy and hopefully a couple friends. Thanks for watching the video. I hope it wasn't just too long and drawn out, too much reading. I'm still kind of work on formatting ideas and stuff for the new direction I'm trying to take the channel. And I appreciate you if you stuck around and watched this whole thing. Hopefully you learned something, or at least enjoyed. And I'll see you in the next one. Hopefully it'll be me and Eldritch Rage playing the One Ring for you guys, and you'll get to see Bjorn or Baron the Hound at the Prancing Pony, but don't tell my players yet. Alright guys, take care, have a good night.